Hello, and welcome to the very first episode of The Tipsy Knitter. Hi, I'm Nissa Wilson, and I'm the Tipsy Knitter, and I wanted to start this vlog to review craft beer, review yarn, and also talk a little bit more about my life as a knitter, a craft beer drinker, and also as a home brewer. So join me today as I do all of those things. Today I am going to be reviewing Deschutes Pine Drops IPA, and this is an IPA that just came out. I don't know if it was in the last 2 weeks. That's kind of when I've been seeing it in the stores, and it is a 6.5% alcohol IPA, and it's at 70 IBUs, so it's pretty hoppy, and it's actually very similar to Deschutes Fresh Squeezed IPA with the ABV and the IBUs, which I love. Deschutes Fresh Squeezed is one of my favorite IPAs. It's just a go-to for me all the time. So I've never tried this one before, and I'm hoping it is just as good. So, without further ado, let's get started. Okay, so let's get it open here. I am pouring today into my Rogue glass, which is also a Oregon brewery. Deschutes is out of Bend, Oregon, and Rogue is out of Newport. Okay, so I think I poured it a little bit aggressively, but here it is. Oh man, that is a nice looking beer. Okay, I'm back here. Well, I had to wait a little bit for the head to go down, but in the meantime I took my picture for Untapped, which I will be posting after this vlog. If you want to follow me on Untapped, I am the Tipsy Knitter. I am also the Tipsy Knitter on Instagram and on Ravelry, of course. So here it is. It's a very clear, very nice. Well, maybe not actually. Maybe it's a little bit hazy. A hazy golden color, and the head's gone down, but it's really nice and frothy, kind of a foamy head. Aroma on it is, you know, I'm not really getting too much of an aroma, and that could be because I waited a little bit. Maybe there's not as much carbonation coming off of it. I'm getting a little bit of that piney, but generally just kind of a generic IPA smell, and hopefully more of that pine will come out in the taste. So, cheers guys! Yeah, that's pretty good. It's got a lot of the citrus notes in it, but bitter on the back end, and not so much on the front. Yeah, kind of that, I always call it like a wood resiny flavor, but that's probably the pine, what they're talking about. I know this is brewed with a bunch of different hops, so I'm not getting any particular hop. It's very drinkable. It goes down easy. It's not thick like you might think for a 6.5% IPA, but I think overall I don't like it as much as Fresh Squeezed. But with spring coming up, you know, I'm thinking about like sitting out on my patio, which it's pouring down rain right now. But you know, when it's nice out, sitting out on the patio with one of these would be really good. So I will continue to drink this as I review my yarn. So this week I am reviewing, what is it? Plymouth Yarns Happy Feet 100 Splash. Now this yarn is not, it's not in a hank anymore. I balled it already, so I'm sorry about that. It comes in a hank, 100 grams. I hope you can see it okay there. And this colorway is Blue Oreo. And I wanted to start with this yarn because it's speckled and it's hand dyed. So Plymouth yarns, hand dyed, fingering weight, and I love it. I love this yarn. It costs $20 a skein, about. I think I've seen it for $18 online, but it's a fingering weight. It's kind of intended for socks. It is 90% superwash merino and 10% nylon. So here's the label for it. I don't know if you can see that very well. It's both my labels. I have two hanks of it. They both ripped in that same spot there. So that's kind of weird, but this yarn has a very high twist. Compared to some other sock yarns I have used, it's got a lot of bounce to it. It's very squishy, of course, that merino, and it's got a lot of play, I guess you'd call it, because of this high twist. I think it's a 4-ply, but if you've got Happy Feet 100 Splash in your local yarn store, or if you see it online, I definitely recommend picking some up. It just knits up really, really squishily, and as Stephen West would say, speckles are so hot right now. So the speckled yarn I find just really pretty, and you don't get that pooling when you start knitting it up like a variegated yarn. You start to get this pooling, but this pooling doesn't happen with these speckling ones near as much. You will get areas on this that are lighter and darker, and later in the episode I will show you this knitted up because it's part of one of my works in progress. So there it is, Happy Feet Splash 100 in Blue Oreo. Some of the other colorways are, there's lipstick, one called Iris, I think, and Blueberry, and a couple of them that they've just come out with are just, they're fantastic. So this, if you got this, it'd be great, I think, to mix with a solid color to make some like 2-colored socks, like striping, or even like a fair isle with this. Otherwise, just, you know, knit it into whatever you want. I'm knitting mine into a shawl, but it's lovely. So that is my yarn review for today. Let's see, I've got some notes here. What do I need to do next? Oh yeah, so about me. My name is Nissa Wilson. I am 28 years old, and I'm a little nervous. This is my first podcast vlog, and that's why I've got this beer. I am a biologist. I went to school for biology. I've always loved the outdoors, and I studied water because as a little girl we went out to our lake cabin in Minnesota a lot, and I just fell in love with the water and the fish in it and everything associated with it. So I went to school for aquatic things. Now currently I am working at a consulting firm, so I'm not specifically aquatic, but I am a biologist, and in my spare time I love to knit. I just knit up a storm, and I love to drink craft beer, and I also homebrew from time to time. So you already knew that, but I am married to a wonderful man. He is 28 as well, and we do not have any kids yet. He is in graduate school, so we're kind of waiting for him to get finished up with that before we, you know, to have a little extra money. I heard kids were kind of expensive. But we don't have kids, but we do have one dog. Valo, come here. Come here. He's always sitting by me. Come here. And he's not supposed to go on the couch, so this is going to be difficult. I'll just pick him up. Oh, he's a black lab. Don't spill my beer. Don't spill my beer. So he's like probably really upset right now because he's on the couch. Oh, he laid down. Okay, well anyway, that was Valo. You gotta get off now, sorry. You're not actually allowed on the couch. So hopefully you saw him, but you'll see him more if you subscribe to me on Instagram. I'll post things, and I also always try to put pictures of Valo up with Ravelry. And so if he's around, here he is right now, I will definitely try to include him. Mwah! Good dog. But, yeah, so I have a dog, I have a husband, I work for a consulting firm, and, I live in Kentucky. I live in Louisville, Kentucky, and I'm originally from Minnesota. My family lives up there currently, but then they summer in Florida. They bought a Florida house, and so now they're snowbirds. It's so cute. So, yeah, so I'm living in Louisville, Kentucky, and then I guess that kind of goes right into why I wanted to start this vlog. Basically, I wanted to be part of the knitting community as well as part of the craft beer community. So with my videos, I really want to keep the beer reviews at the beginning and then talk a little bit more about beer at the end in case you're not into it. Then you can just skip it and go, you know, right into the middle and then stop early or something like that. And if you're actually into the craft beer, maybe not the knitting so much, well, watch the beginning and then skip over to the end where I talk about my craft beer life. So I wanted to get more involved with these communities, and I'm looking at my notes, sorry. I wanted to share the love that I have of craft beer and knitting, and yeah, just kind of be a part of that. I watch a lot of knitting vlogs, specifically, let's see, I love Vero. She is in Britain, and her name is That Canadian Girl, and she has a fantastic crafty knitting fluffy things vlog, and so I love watching her. I love watching the Legacy Knits, mother-daughter. They're fantastic. Homespun House I watch. Some other ones, I can't remember them right now apparently. But, Naughty Knitwits, you ladies are fantastic. So I love watching you, and I wanted to start something of my own since I've been watching so many, and I thought that I had some different things to contribute to the community. So here are my goals. Okay, so I guess I left off at goals, but my camera auto-timed off because I've never done this before. So here I am, almost done after recording it, so we'll try again. So with my goals, let's see. Okay, so I want to keep my videos relatively short, preferably less than half an hour, but we'll see what happens on this first one. I want people to be able to watch my videos, just sit down and then get back up and do whatever they need to do on their day and not feel like, oh, wait to get to the good part or whatever. And also, you know, if you're bored, just skip ahead to the good part. I know my favorite parts of all the knitting vlogs are when they show their works in progress and their finished objects. So just go ahead, I don't care. I wanted to be myself and be true to my viewers throughout the whole video. And that just, for me, means being a genuine person, not sounding like, I don't know, that this is forced or anything. And so I hope it doesn't, and I hope that I can also work on that, because I know that, you know, being nervous affects how you display yourself. I want to, let's see. I want to have fun doing this, and I want you to have fun, and I want us to both learn new things, and I'm going to be learning how to video edit and I don't know what else, do all kinds of interesting stuff, and I want you to learn from what I'm doing, and also, you know, post your comments with suggestions too, because I would love to hear from you on what I can do in the future to improve this, because I know that as my first episode I'll have a lot of improvement to do. And then I also just kind of want to inspire you through my journey. I want to be able to share my journey of knitting and craft beer and brewing with you, and hopefully inspire you to maybe try different things that you hadn't tried before, specifically like IPAs, which is almost gone, which is great for this video. So with that, I guess I'm going to go right on to my knitting news. For my works in progress, I have two. The first one is, let's see, my Stephen West The Doodler shawl. And this was a knit-along in November, and, oop, that's the back, don't look at the back. And I missed the boat on the knit-along, so I am doing it after the fact, and let me hold it out so you can see it better. But I am on clue number 2 right now, and it is with that Plymouth Yarns blue Oreo, and I think I said stockinette stitch earlier with the blue Oreo, but I meant garter stitch. And this is knitted in garter stitch with the Plymouth Yarns blue Oreo. And the garter stitch on is fabulous. It's in right now, and it's got the speckled yarns. So that is one of my favorite. It's one of my favorite projects I've done, I think, ever. Stephen West's instructions for it are really good, step by step, and also it's really easy too. It's not, you know, it's just like each wedge is similar, you know, to the last one, and it's just actually a really nice knit that you can do while you're watching TV so far. So hopefully I will make more progress on this and be able to show you when I've completed it. Now this has Cascade Heritage sock yarn for this lime green color, and it's a little bit thinner. It's a light fingering weight as opposed to the Plymouth Yarns Happy Feet Splash, which is definitely more of like an actual fingering weight, or maybe even a thicker. So this Plymouth is, or this Cascade Heritage is a little bit thinner, not as tightly wound. And so I'm wondering how it's going to play out, because I need to do a whole big wedge around the bottom, and I've got Heritage in blue for that, in like a bright blue. So yeah, I really love it so far. That's my Stephen West, and that's my first Stephen West pattern I've ever done, actually. So I'm having a lot of fun with it. My second project is, this is called the Keeley sweater, and it is by, oh, here we go, Kefren Pritchett. And here's a picture of it. It is in Interweave Knits Winter 2016 magazine, and as you can see, I've beat this magazine up because it's been in my project bag and goes with me wherever I'm working on this sweater. And I really should just photocopy it, but I don't know. I like looking at the other patterns, I guess. So it's a Gansey style sweater, which I've never knit a Gansey before, but I started with the shoulders, and I'd never done that before. Started with these shoulder pads, and then went down and connected them, and then started working the body on each side, the front and the back, like the shoulders and the chest, and then connected them, and then worked in the round. So it was really different. I'd never done that. I've never done a top-down sweater before, but as you can see, hopefully you can see, I don't know how well that will show up. It's got this pretty lace work on it, which I'm hoping will open up and look really nice once I block it. But I've had some troubles with this. I've been, I knit the whole bottom part of it in that stockinette stitch, like the picture shows, and it didn't work. It curled up, especially with that welt. It's called a welt stitch, which is this, like, basically 2 rows of purl, 2 rows of, or something, 2 or 3 rows of stockinette. But it was curling on the bottom, ripped it out, knit it again, put a big rib on the bottom, and then it was still curling up a little bit, and I can't deal with that as a knitter. Like, I want my projects to look, I want myself to be satisfied with them when I complete them, because once they're done, I will not go back and change them. You know, I don't know if you're that kind of a knitter, but I am. So I have to get it perfect, I guess. And so here I am, I'm going to knit the lace work all the way to the bottom. Now, I always modify my patterns. I can't help it. I don't know why I choose this, but it's just how my brain works. I have to modify everything. So I'm going to knit the lace and then this side ribbing all the way to the bottom, and hopefully that, coupled with the ribbing, a little ribbing on the bottom, will keep it from curling at all. I'm also doing this a little bit differently. Instead of doing the lace work on both sides, wrong side, right side, I'm only doing lace work on the right side because I started with it and it was back and forth, not in the round, and it was like purl 2 together, and I was having trouble with it. It was just a lot of work for the progress I was making, and also I wasn't getting good stitch definition at all because this alpaca, oh, I forgot to tell you what yarn this is in. This alpaca wasn't showing up with the lace work. It just wasn't easy to see. So I switched to only every right side row doing the lace pattern, and that's fine. I'll just knit as long as I need it to go. I'm not minding about the number of repeats I need to have, because as long as it looks good, you know. So this yarn is called, I have it written down. Henry's Attic Peruvian Tweed. And here it is, a giant ball of it. It comes in like this huge hank that's like 230 grams, I think. And this is the colorway Brown number 107. And it's a DK weight, 100% super fine alpaca. It feels divine. And I actually had to buy an extra ball, skein hank of this because I don't know why I started this sweater thinking that it would be enough for a sweater, for one ball like this. But anyway, I bought another ball of it on Ravelry from a lovely lady. So that was awesome. It's the first time I had ever purchased anything on Ravelry from another whatever. And that's the beer talking, I guess. But no, I think that's just hard to say, Ravelry. But yeah, I love this yarn. I bought it when I was driving through Montana. I think it's a pretty rare yarn. It's not easy to find. However, if you know where to look, it's, you know, you can call people. So if you call Joseph's Coat in Missoula, Montana, you can get yourself some of this beautiful Peruvian tweed, 100% superfine alpaca. And okay, so that's my works in progress. Now I'm going to move on. I need to move on to my final segment, which is my craft beer section. So in my news recently, we have just purchased, my husband and I have purchased a keezer. A keezer is a freezer and a kegerator combined. So this is a small freezer, and it's got 3 taps. And so 3 taps, 1 freezer for putting kegs of beer in. And I am just super excited to use it, but I'm also nervous at the same time because I've never kegged any beer before. So that's going to be an adventure. We have like the CO2 tank for carbonating and all that stuff. We just need to do it, and so far that has not happened yet. But anyway, the keys are sitting over there. I'll try to put like a picture up so you can see it. And the first beer I want to brew to put into the keezer will be a hoppy pale ale. And I've got a recipe. A recipe? Yeah, I guess they're beer recipes. I've got a recipe online for a Sierra Nevada pale ale clone. And my husband's been kind of poking at me recently to put grapefruit in it, so like the grapefruit sculpin or whatever. And I don't know if I will, because I've got two grapefruit on top of my fridge right now, and they are so delicious. And I don't want to put them in my beer because I want to eat them. So whether or not I actually brew a beer and put the grapefruits in it, that's just questionable. So I'm going to do a 5-gallon batch. I'm going to put it in the keezer and have it on tap. So I will try to post either a video or pictures about how this actually goes, because like I said, never done it before, kind of nervous. In other beer related news, the local brewery by my house has restored their stained glass windows. They are located in an old church, and I am just so excited. I saw on Instagram that they had finally unveiled their stained glass windows, and I have not been in there since, so I will have to go in there and check them out, and I'll definitely be posting pictures of those, and also me drinking beer there, so that'll be good. And yeah, that's my local brewery. I'll be going there. And I also wanted to talk a little bit about some trending beer that I've seen lately, which is like the hard soda lines. And it kind of started with this Not Your Dad's hard root beer, and I've seen several different, like Clancy's, I think, is another brand of hard root beer, hard root beers, and hard orange sodas, and hard cream sodas, and that kind of stuff. And I think that for somebody who, if you're not really into beer very much, definitely check those out. They're sweet, so if you don't like sweet, don't get them, but they're sometimes even cloyingly sweet, which I love. I have a huge sweet tooth. And my favorite of those kind of beers is the Krabby's Orange Ginger Beer. And I also love the cap because it's orange. It has a little, an elephant on it, and I collect the bottle caps. So, just try one. If you don't like beer, you know, a ginger beer is not a beer, and a hard root beer doesn't taste like a beer. It's more like a, you know, like a Seagram's or something like that with a little bit higher alcohol content. But I think that that's an opportunity that's kind of opening up, and the craft beer community is becoming a little bit more product aware of people that don't like hops. And so if you go to a brewery, which I encourage you, go to a brewery, and even if you don't like beer, and they'll probably have something on tap. A root beer, a cider, maybe a sour ale, that would be a little bit more like drinking a wine if you like wines. And I think that that's just a really good trend that's happening now. It's that these smaller breweries are getting more in touch with people that don't necessarily want to drink an IPA. Then I guess finally I wanted to ask you all a question to conclude, and that is, what is your go-to beer? When you walk into the liquor store, you're going to have a fun night, or if you walk into a bar, maybe it is your local craft beer bar or whatever, what do you order? I love Sierra Nevada Torpedo, and that I can only have, like, if I have two, I'm like out of it because I think it's a 7-something% beer. It's a double IPA, but that is one of my go-tos, Sierra Nevada Torpedo. But if I'm just looking to pick up a pale ale, I like Mick Ultra, to be honest. And I also drink a lot of Natty Light because my husband drinks Natty, and so we always have Natty in the fridge. So I might have a Natty or two tonight, I'm going to be honest. So anyway, tell me your answer. Tell me what your go-to beer is in the comments section, and if you've got any suggestions for me, just let me know. I know that I am going to get a better camera, I think, because looking at the footage from this, it's going to have to get higher resolution because of this yarn. It's hard to see what's going on. So I apologize for that. So thank you so much for watching this, and I'm so glad that you came and joined me on my very first episode of The Tipsy Knitter. Untapped, I'm the Tipsy Knitter, Ravelry, Tipsy Knitter, and what's the last one? Instagram. Alright, see you next time. Bye-bye.